Well, I don't want to let go what you just mentioned in terms of why something like that would be done to children and to women in front of their families. The term genocide is used in Sudan. What you are describing there in terms of treatment of gender-based violence, it sounds like you are saying that is an attempt to destroy a society by carrying out rape.
I mean, there are definitely atrocities that are intended to terrorize communities, to force them to move, to scare them. And, they're effective strategies for sure. And I think, the world needs to take a look. I mean, Sudan, I know it seems so far away, and it is in many ways, but it is also a place where children are suffering so enormously. And I think, especially, now we're in the holiday season, you want to think about people being with their families, all the rest of it. I mean, children in so many places are not having those sort of luxuries. They are really suffering, and I think the world needs to pay attention to that. And I commend, Senator Rubio, Secretary Rubio, now for pointing this out, because I think the key thing here is that we need attention to the problem.
Well, the U.S. has historically been the largest donor to UNICEF, but we've seen tremendous cuts by this administration, including a $142 million clawback of congressionally approved funds. Secretary Rubio said no one died from these aid cuts, and on Friday he said he's very proud of the changes that were made in foreign aid. Tell us what the reality is of the funding cuts.
The funding cuts are challenging, and I think the issue to understand is it's not just the United States. It's almost every donor to certainly to UNICEF, but to the UN system broadly and to the humanitarian sector. And so when you add all of those together, the impacts are really dramatic because it means that what financial support we do get, we have to spread now over more places and with less support from donor countries. So I think there are certainly, there have been and will probably always be catastrophes that we're trying to deal with, and children are suffering. The United States has always proudly led, I think, on humanitarian response and on helping children. And, we're hopeful that some of the money that has been taken back will be restored to us. We continue to work with the State Department. There are efforts to fund a lot of the humanitarian and sort of life-saving work that we do. But really, the needs around the world are just absolutely enormous. And it's the United States and other donors who have to come in behind that, along with the private sector, I have to add. That is also
Yeah.
an important piece of this
Uh,
puzzle.
and I should point out that the U.S. is one of the largest foreign aid donors to South Sudan, but that
Yes.
uh, foreign aid is also under threat at this moment because of the government not complying with what the U.S. is demanding. Let me
Yes,
quickly,
South Sudan is a challenge. I was
yeah,
just there too, and that is, the
yeah.
government there
Can I
needs to do a better job.
quickly, before I let you go, Gaza, how are things improving?
Well, again, I would say thanks to the ceasefire and the administration here was critical on doing that. Things have gotten a bit better. We are able to move around better, but there's tremendous misery. The challenges remain. We have a lot of work that needs to get done. I mean, you've seen all of the images, the destruction. We still have serious levels of malnutrition. We are trying to get shelter in place. There's rain and
Hmm.
just misery for children all around. So I think I would say there definitely is progress with the ceasefire. God willing, that holds, and then we
Yeah.
can continue to get more and more aid in there.
God willing, that holds, as you say. Catherine Russell, thank you for your time today.
Thanks.